very excited because we're getting to chat face to face. We've chatted a couple of times with Joel and Luke from For King and Country, and every time we've chatted to you, we've asked you what you want from Australia. So I just want you to know.
Oh, man.
Just to see what our answers were.
We followed through.
Yes, you did.
That's
for
for
me.
Joel.
That's for me, right?
And
Yep.
snakes.
Yes.
And
Guys.
we needed to start the next generation, so your kiddies, but yeah, please, they come with a health
Can I
warning.
dub can I get the Freddos? Because
Oh,
I'm
you can have
a
those.
chocolate guy.
Yeah, okay, well, you can do those.
Oh, that's great,
but
man.
Thanks very much.
I think,
Yeah.
but these, remember how chewy and how hard these
Yeah.
are, okay? So
These are
wash
like a
your
choking
teeth.
hazard for
Yeah.
kids right here.
I had braces. I don't think I was allowed to have
Yeah,
those.
so
No, you wouldn't be with braces.
There you go. We always say, what do you want, when we've chatted to you the couple of times that
Guys,
we have.
you've really invested in this relationship.
Yeah,
I'm very
there we go.
grateful.
And this is our first, I mean, we've spoken on the phone, but this is our first, like, here we are.
Face to face.
Face to
Sorry about
face.
that.
That's all right.
Just a little.
We had to come
Apologies
to
in
you.
advance.
We were thinking you'd come to us, but we had to come to you.
Yes, well, we try. A momentum every year. We try.
Yeah, I know.
I know. It's all good.
It's always next time.
Anyway.
Well, look, it's great to have you here, though. It's sensational. It's been a long time coming. Every time we've spoken to you, it's been like, are you coming? Are you coming? And it's always like, oh, we're working on it. But here you are. So welcome.
So at least you know now that we haven't been lying, right? We have been working on it just for quite a while.
So how is it to be home and performing?
It's incredible. We're both sort of tagging on a bit of a holiday as well. Our families are here. Most of our siblings are here.
Wow.
And even down to tonight, our grandmum is coming to the show
sensational.
tonight. Yeah, so we've got relatives. It's just been, so far it's been a remarkable, there's so many, I said to someone earlier, we probably have to sit down for an hour or so just to go through the layers of us being born here and going to America, kind of our dad a bit disgraced with losing a load of money on a tour that went bad, and then coming back a few decades later as a family, and just the incredible reception from the Sydney Opera House to this, selling out in a week or so. And we didn't expect it. So we felt, man, before we even stepped foot in the country, we just felt this massive bear hug by Australia. Koala bear hug.
Not a drop bear.
Yeah. And so it's just so far it's just been an adventure. So we're thrilled.
It's been so good to see that response, I guess, because as you said, and I think, Luke, we were talking to you just before Christmas, and you're like, well, we hope this is going to go all right, because in some respects it was a big unknown. But, I mean, as you said, you've sold concerts. You've actually had to add extra dates in between because you've had so much demand. So that must be really encouraging for guys that, I mean, you have been here before, because it was, I think, 2009 that you guys were out at Easter Fest supporting Rebecca. And so you were kind of, I think it was Joel and Luke back then.
Yeah.
You had the most unique band name in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I don't think anybody else has ever been called Joel and Luke. So, but that's like, it might as well be decades ago, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think the thing that I've always thought in kind of a humorous way in the Bible, it says that a prophet's never welcome back in their hometown. And I was sitting there thinking, is that going to be the way that it is for us? Not that we're prophets, but are we going to be like rejected, cast out? Yeah, we don't really like them very much. So, but yeah, these are the ones that really, you want to actually feel, if you go to any other kind of country in the world almost, and if it doesn't really go that well, it doesn't really matter that much. But when it is, for instance, I mean, we probably got 50 or 60, family coming tonight, and they're and to feel people like, you're actually to actually have people like yourself say welcome home. Because, there always is that feeling like, well, you've been gone for a long while and you've obviously spent most of your time in the States. You don't even sound Australian anymore. As there going to be a little bit of, resentment or anything. And we haven't felt that at all. It's been nothing but just people really grateful and very warm and very loving. And, those memories, for however long that, we decide to do this for, I think these will be some of those memories that are right up there with the favorites of a career.
Amazing. Well, as we say, we're super excited to welcome you home, even says the girl with the Kiwi accent. Sorry about that. Yes, and we're all very close between Australia and New Zealand, and I do hear there might have been a bit of a driving incident, but we'll
Joel can feel free to talk about the driving incident.
Talk to that.
So let's just say your native land don't believe in speed limit signs. I was driving I was driving from Queenstown to Christchurch, and there wasn't a speed limit sign anywhere to be found on that road. There was a lot of arrows pointing which way to go, because I think people forget, a lot of the tourists.
Yeah.
So the first thing I actually said to the police officer when he pulled me over was, hey, mate, what is the speed limit? Which is not a good thing. He wasn't thrilled. That was the moment where he was like, this guy's definitely getting a ticket.
Well,
No.
I would admit, actually in Queenstown, when I first moved back home, I got a speeding ticket but got off because I pulled out my British license and put on my best British accent.
Oh, I have an American license. Didn't help me. I think it actually helped dig my grave, because this guy's like, this guy,
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Well, at least you're on the right side of the road. That's probably...
Yeah, that was a good thing. And as I said, sorry, I digress. We are super excited. What can we expect from you guys? Like, on stage, what are you hoping the audience walk away with tonight?
Well, if you've not joined us before, it's a fun kind of theatrical experience. There's 8 of us on stage. There's, I think, 46 instruments. There's everything from tubular bells to cellos to load of drums, and we all kind of switch around instruments throughout the night, and so it's a entertaining show, I think, but more than that, it's really this particular show in Australia. When we went into rehearsals for it, we wanted to make sure that we told the whole story of the band, because America, we've toured a lot, and so we kind of lean on the newer material a bit more, but this is the longest show we've played in our career, maybe. I think this is 19-20 songs, and it's kind of one of the more diverse shows we've played, playing stuff from the first, and second, and third record. So there's a real thread of a story of our journey as a band in the night. Not to mention Luke and I, we touch on everything from relationships and romance to kind of the construct of this record, to addictions that have been faced, just real personal things, and culminating the night. The hope is, I think, that people, number one, walk away feeling just undeniably, unreasonably loved, and secondly, that there's an opportunity to really hold your head high and choose joy, kind of moment by moment, day by day.
Excellent, really good. Just a last question before we let you move on to whatever's next on the agenda before the concert. It's not very nice. But we've just added Amen, or Amen, however you want to say it, to the playlist on Vision.
It's definitely Amen.
Amen, okay. Well, I've been saying Amen just because that's how the song finishes, so I've been trying my best. But the story behind the song, what's the message that's coming with that? I mean, obviously, you've shared a couple of the different stories over the last little while with us, and I'm keen to know what's the message behind that song.
Yeah, so I was baptized by my grandfather in the Pacific Ocean quite a number of years ago, and but I was at home a year and a half, 2 years ago or something, and I was at church, and the pastor wasn't speaking about baptism, but he must have had an announcement or something like, we're having baptism Sunday a couple of weeks from now or whatever. And literally, as soon as he said that, for the rest of the sermon, I just couldn't. Nothing else could enter in my brain other than baptism. I thought it was so strange. So after the service, I went up to, and he's a good friend of mine, the pastor, and I said, hey, man, I just feel this strange. I've been baptized before, but I just can't get my mind off of this word, baptism. And he's like, well, man, I think that you probably should get baptized in your home church, and maybe that's what it was, who knows. And so I was like, sure enough, and so 3 or 4 weeks later, it's baptism Sunday, and I'm lining up with all the children. There's all like 10-year-olds there, telling them how it's going to go. And it comes for my moment. And I get up there, and my pastor friend, says a few things, and I get baptized. And as I'm coming up out of the water, there just felt like there was this moment where time stood still, and I don't know what it was, other than I just felt like a gift, like feeling like God saying, just remember this moment, remember what this represents, and come out of the water. Pastor gives me a hug, and away we go. And so after the service, my pastor comes up and he says, man, what a special day, all those types of things. And then he turns to me and he goes, and did you feel it? And I was like, what? And he goes, it just felt like time stood still for a second.
Wow.
And so we just had this kind of moment, and so a couple days later, we were in the writing session, and I just kind of told the story, and that's what that song is all written about. It's written about that story of baptism.
Needless to say, he's been baptized like 9 times.
Yeah.
Maybe more inspiration will come.
The pausing hasn't happened every time, but
it's amazing. And it's a brilliant video too. I mean, obviously the videos on the new album are amazing. I mean, it's just a whole next level up. So I think is it Ben that's the man
brother
behind
Ben.
that? So
yeah, that's right.
pass on, huge thumbs up for that. I mean,
we'll let him know that Australians like his videos as well.
You're all welcomed home.
There you go.
There you go. It's a whole family.
Awesome.
If you could bring Rebecca back, we'd like to see her too.
We'll see. Yeah. I'm not sure she can fit in the suitcase, so I'm just kidding.
Excellent. Well, thanks for taking time out before you go on stage to catch up with us.
Our pleasure.
No
Thanks for
eating
time.
minties before you sing.
There you go.
Put a minty in your mouth as you start.
They take a while to digest.